What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot, brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. If you're doing any sort of sports betting or DFS this NFL season, make sure that's where you're getting it done. My name is Blaiden Kirk. I'm joined, as always, by one of my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Theo Ash. Matthew Spawnhour is unfortunately very ill. He's got a fever. His nose is all stuffy, so we told him to take the night off, get some rest, and he'll be back in full force for our Wednesday record Thursday episode. We're recapping week 10 of the NFL season, though. Theo and I are still here. We're healthy. We're happy.
Hello.
Theo, you're in Green Bay.
I'm in Appleton. I'm not in Green Bay, but I will be in Green Bay tomorrow. I'll be tailgating. I will be eating brats. I will be drinking beer. I will be with my parents, with my sister. I might be with Joel Moran. That might be the gang for Monday Night Football, because he came up and he came up and I said, pull up to the tailgate. It's going to be me, Caroline, mom and dad, some Bloody Marys, and Joel, the honorary Jordan Love Packer fan. Terrence Parsons was in his mentions. That's Micah's brother, saying, when you're in Green Bay, we gotta link up. So I'm wondering if Joel can bring Terrence Parsons to our tailgate, and it can be me, Terrence, and the family.
That would be a sick tailgate.
That would be special. But I will just take a Packers win. We'll see what ends up happening tomorrow. But yeah, I'm here in Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm in my grandpa's basement, and we'll see what kind of Wi-Fi he's got here tonight. And yeah, we're bringing the energy. There is no Matt, so I'm just gonna yap and yap and yap.
We're just gonna yap and yap and yap. Theo, for your sake, I do hope the Packers get a win, because the Panthers lost to the Saints this week, and the Browns lost to the Jets.
I hope so too.
The aura is not looking good.
No,
the omens are not on your side.
And the Vikings lost, and you're wearing your Vikings Treadwell jersey. I did see
Laquan Treadwell jersey. But
I did see Treadwell, and I saw Treadwell get a crucial tackle on special teams today.
Yeah, he's a solid player. Yeah, he can step in it and make plays when he's asked to. But
how are you doing, Blaiden? What are you up to?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It was the first, I feel like, regular weekend I've had in a long time. I feel like most of my Saturdays I'm either like out of town or playing a show or something, and that's always stressful because I have to like tear down a lot of my studio stuff for that. I need to just get home equipment and travel equipment. That I just need to do that, but that's expensive.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a really good weekend. Just chill Saturday, slept in, and watched football all day today. Watched the Colts get an overtime thriller win, and where they actually leaned on their best player.
That's the real reason Matt's not here. That's the real reason Matt's not here.
I mean, if you want to get into this game of Colts Falcons, dude, 9:30 a.m. in Berlin. Shout out. Daniel Jones gets sacked 7 times, throws an interception, fumbles 3 times. Luckily, they only lose one of those. They still get a win because Jonathan Taylor gets 35 touches, rushes for 245 yards, and has 3 touchdowns.
That's not bad, Blaiden.
Can't really ask for much more than that from him.
Yeah, he also had 3 receptions for 42 yards, so a couple first downs there. I mean, immediately where your mind goes watching this game is he the MVP of the league? Are we going to see a running back do it again?
It's close. I mean, this really is, I think, the argument now, because there's no Matt here to tell us otherwise.
Rain on our parade. Yes.
But like, the fact that your quarterback can have not necessarily a disastrous performance, because it wasn't quite that. He still completed 19 of 26 passes and threw a touchdown. Mm-hmm. But the fact that your quarterback can sort of feel like he's holding the team back to a point where you have to take stuff off of his plate and give that to the running back and he win the game for you. that does say a lot to his MVP case, especially like Drake. The Patriots got a win today. I don't think Drake May played that well. I mean,
we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Maybe you still like Mahomes in this race. The Bills lost today. So, like, the Colts are still the 1 seed, and Jonathan Taylor is clearly the best and most valuable player on this team. And that's what the MVP is. It's the best player on the best team. And right now, that's Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he had an 80-yard touchdown, 80-plus yard touchdown today. That was worth
longest
30
run of anyone this season.
Yep, he beat Bajan, who was playing head-to-head against him. Right, he snatched his title right in front of him.
Snatched
and
that
play, Blaiden, was a 30 win percentage swing. All right, that's about as big as it gets in a game. And I think the thing about a running back compared to a receiver, compared to even a quarterback, compared to any other position, is it really, I know this isn't true, and I know that the line helps a lot, but it feels like a running back, you just hand it to them and they do it all by themselves. Whereas every single JSN catch that he's ever made is really dependent on Darnold throwing him a good ball, right? Jonathan Taylor,
to that, yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, when he swings the game by himself with an 80-yard play, it really does feel like, oh, that's all Jonathan Taylor. And once out of every 20 times you hand it to him, he is going to rip off one of those types of plays. Like, he just hits so many home runs. So keep feeding him, keep feeding him, keep feeding him. He can handle it. And just eventually he is going to change the game for you in a way that is mathematically very difficult. So I really do think it feels to me like he should be in the conversation. And I understand that he's not a running back, but since the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, Blaiden, I've tried to decentralize this narrative where it's like running backs aren't really that impactful, because I gave that an F grade, right?
Yeah.
Like, how silly can you get? And it wasn't silly whatsoever. And I was playing Yahtzee with everybody, Blaiden, a couple of nights ago. We were all around playing Yahtzee, and I was thinking about Yahtzee, and I was thinking about football, and I was thinking about how you need a Yahtzee to win because it's 50 points. It's the biggest deal.
Okay. I've never played Yahtzee.
You've never played?
No.
There's different categories, okay? There's 3 of a kind, there's 4 of a kind, there's full house. Have you ever played poker?
I tried once, but I don't know the rules.
There or any real card game, like usually there are valuable combinations. There are straights, there's small straight, that's worth 30 points. There's the large straight,
I used to play a lot of
40
rummy
points.
as a kid, so I'm
you're familiar.
Picking up what you're putting down.
And then in Yahtzee, there's also like your 1s, your 2s, your 3s, your 4s, your 5s, your 6s, and you've got to fill out all these categories. And like, your 1s aren't as important as your Yahtzee, because if you roll 3 1s and that's your turn, you get 3 points there. But if you roll a Yahtzee and all 5 dice are the same, that's 50 points. So like, there is different positional value, if you understand what I'm getting at, with Yahtzee, of like, certain categories are worth a certain amount of points. And like, quarterback is Yahtzee in that you need one. If you were playing Yahtzee with 32 teams, you would need a Yahtzee to be the champion of that particular tournament. You'd need that. But for me, it's like, okay, the quarterback is that position, right? Like, you need one.
Sure.
You need this to get a seat at the winner's table. But once a couple of people have them, then it comes down to 4 of a kind. Then it comes down to what you roll in your 6s and if you get the top bonus. And for me, that's what Jonathan Taylor is. Like, there are a couple teams with a quarterback, right? It's the Chiefs have one, the Bills have one, the Patriots have one, right? All these guys have one. And even the Colts, they do have one, all right? Daniel Jones is good enough. He's better than Anthony Richardson. He's not sabotaging the offense. I mean, he sort of is these last 2 weeks. But overall, he's not. Okay, so you've got your Yahtzee. You've got a seat at the table. But to win the whole thing, just because Daniel Jones is the biggest piece, clearly, and it's something you need, the secret sauce and the special thing that makes the Colts potential champions and the number 1 seed in this conference and one of the most effective offenses, maybe not of all time anymore, but still in this league right now, it's Jonathan Taylor. All right.
Yep.
And if, let's say you had to see over a high wall and you had a big box that you already had at your disposal. That's important. You need to stand on that box, but you can't quite see over the wall yet. So then you have to find something. You have to fashion something, and maybe it doesn't have the same height as the box, but you had to make it. You had to, I don't know, like just because it's not the highest percentage of the total, it still feels more valuable because like it was a little bit harder to get. It was a little bit different. I feel like that with Jonathan Taylor's MVP case. Like, yes, he's not a quarterback. Yes, he's not the biggest part of this, but he's such an advantage as the best running back in the league. And he's so far above, the next best guy at his position or the next best guy who's touching the ball, and actually scoring touchdowns for your team. Because I don't think a defensive player is going to get it this year. That to me is where Jonathan Taylor's MVP case lies, and where the running back in general, their MVP case lies is there's a lot of teams with quarterbacks. There's a lot of teams with running backs. There's a lot of teams with wide receivers, right? And if you can add more value at the running back position than anybody else by far, I think you deserve a seat at the table.
Yeah. I completely agree. The point of there being, well, quarterback is the most valuable position. Well, if everyone has a really good quarterback, then
you got to differentiate yourself.
You have to differentiate a little bit. Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor absolutely does that. Like we talked about it last week too, when the Steelers beat the Colts, and we'll talk about them as well. I do think their defense has been playing a little bit better the past couple of weeks, and they've done a good job of getting pressure on guys. But when you got to the point where Daniel Jones had like single-handedly turned the ball over 4 times, it's like, maybe take the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
And we saw that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what Steichen did when it was clear that we cannot lean on Daniel Jones in this game, right? If we're going to beat the Falcons, we're going to beat them with our best player, with our bread and butter, and that's Jonathan Taylor. I don't think they've given him this many touches all year. It's long overdue, and he's been super productive without having to take 32 touches. But if you need to do that, you should do it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? And if Daniel Jones is going to keep fumbling, you have to. You absolutely have to do that. So
that's the thing is like if teams are going to commit to, there are holes on this offensive line. They're a better run blocking unit than they are a pass blocking unit. And if we can exploit that and get pressure on Daniel Jones, if we're going to commit to, that's our strategy for beating this team, is we're going to force Daniel Jones to make a mistake. Either we're going to get quick pressure and force him to fumble, or we're going to force him to make a quick throw. Then take the ball out of his hands and keep defenses honest. You can't do that running 15 times a game.
Yeah. God, he's so good. He is just so good.
He's ridiculous, dude. He's insane.
He's so good. He just is so complete. I mean, he just plays with space so well. Like he's so comfortable. If he didn't have the ball, his ideal way to advance would be to just piggyback. Like he'd want to bear hug the lineman from behind and say, "You carry me forward." Like he just tucks in that space behind them. And then it's like the defensive players have got to figure out like, well, how I'm so close to him, but I can't touch him. Like I gotta, he's right there, but this lineman is in the way. I can't figure it out. And they're trying to like get around the lineman and touch him. And then he just shoots out to the side and he's gone.
As soon as he sees you kind of expose yourself to one side, he's out the other way.
He's out the other way. And in this time that he was hiding behind the rocks, the edge setter crept a little bit too far in to go get him too. And then he's just out the side. And he runs behind his pads.
He almost runs like a quarterback who's like scrambling up the middle, because like as the pocket forms, you start to see lanes emerge in the offensive line. That's almost how he operates as a runner. And Le'Veon Bell was kind of like that too. People always reference his patience. Where you just kind of sit and you just kind of let like a pocket form around you, and then you can shoot through the open gaps in that pocket. It's super special stuff.
And I feel like it's a little bit different than how he played like back in, I think it was 2021 when he had.
21 was his.
Did he win Offensive Player of the Year that year, or did Cup?
He went. That was he was That was the last time he went 2,000 all-purpose yards and 20 touchdowns.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous year, right? And that season, I guess I haven't watched it in a while, but the thing that stood out to me the most is like, oh my God, he's shot out of a cannon every play. Like he's hitting the line of scrimmage so quickly and at such a speed that he can just rip off run after run after run after run. This year, I don't necessarily feel like he's got that so much where it's just like, bang, he's shot out of a cannon. It's more of that patience, but he still has all of that shot out of a cannon speed within him. And he's just such a good problem solver. He runs so light on the balls of his feet. Like you're a track guy, Blaiden. You probably know about foot strike. I was reading about that after watching Taylor
weird.
run.
Have I ever brought up, like when I was one of my coaches, who's now my sister's coach, he used to always preach there's like an optimal running weight to the point where it's like you can strike lightly but still powerful enough to propel yourself further, and everyone's optimal running weight is different. And so I don't know, I wonder if maybe Jonathan Taylor has like found his optimal running
I think
weight.
so, man. I would love to hear him talk about it because it stands out to me when I watch him, just how he kind of varies how light he is on the balls of his feet, like when he's behind the line of scrimmage versus when he's running downfield. Like he kind of changes it up sometimes, and he runs with so far over his feet sometimes, and then when someone goes to hit him, he's like a battering ram. Like there's just so much about him that's good. Like even runs where he goes for 0 yards, you could slow down the film and break it down and still find something that's like crazy effective fundamentally with the way he got 0 yards. Like
he was supposed to lose 5 on that play, so
right. And there's no fluff, there's no bullshit. You'll never ever catch him spending too much time going east and west. He is just a monster. He is just an absolute monster, and a joy to watch carry the football this year. And I think I'd vote for him right now MVP. I think I'd vote for him.
One of the most fun players to watch. You talked about that in the Stay Hot group chat. Most fun duos. You could just say Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor and Quentin, maybe.
And Quentin, yeah, that's a super fun.
Those two are a crazy duo. Alec Pierce, shout out. Pierce and Warren also had great games. Like it wasn't just Taylor too.
Warren had the meanest stiff arm in this game.
This was his best game to me. This was his best game to me.
Crazy.
99 yards. I guess I don't have it in front of me if he's beat that this year. Maybe he has, but he made a catch on 4th down late in the game. I think he was up against Billy Bowman. Length matters. All right. Billy Bowman's a twitchy guy, but he raked his hands through. I think he like screened Warren's vision a little bit on 4th down, but Warren was able to just kind of out-length him with his hands and rip the catch out of the air, turn up field. Crucial game-saving play from Warren. He caught a corner route on the sideline. Was it in overtime? I believe it was, to put them in field goal range and really ice the game, although then they just kept handing it to Taylor. Probably to just like play it safe, and then Taylor ended up juking out guys at the second level and scoring, right? So they didn't end up needing to kick a field goal. It was a 3rd touchdown for Taylor. But Warren was crazy. Pierce had some amazing catches. Like, obviously, the line plays decently well when running backs go for 240 yards. So despite the fumbling, despite some of the looseness with the ball and the fact that this was a war with the Falcons, you still got to look at the Colts and say, man, I would be scared. I would be scared if I was the Bills, and I'd be scared if I was the Chiefs.
Miami.
I would be very scared. I mean, everybody has some bad losses this season. Everybody.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, people are. I've seen a lot of people still say, "Well, the Colts are fraud." If Daniel Jones can't put together like multiple complete games, or if he's had multiple games in a row that look like this, how can you trust him in the playoffs? But like, do the Bills look safe? Do the Chiefs look safe? Not really. So
Jalen Hurts, I think, played two really bad playoff games to begin the year last year. I don't think his Packer game was good, and I definitely don't think his Rams game was good. They were one of the lowest success rate teams in the playoffs going into the NFC Championship game. Of course, there they put up 55, but what saved them? Home runs from their running back. And it feels like the Colts can follow a similar formula, especially when they have Sauce Gardner now. And that was the other big storyline from this game, is the debut of Gardner as a Colt. And it wasn't super impactful. I don't know. What did you think? But he was still there, you know?
He was still there. He almost had a pick six.
He did.
I think the reason it didn't feel super impactful is because Michael Penix Jr. is just not that good.
He was missing. He was missing too many throws.
It's just, I mean, he completed 12 of 28 passes. Just not a great Penix game. But yeah, not super impactful. I felt like when the Browns traded for Tyson Campbell, you got to see like if there was going to be impact or not right away. But that was against Rodgers, and I think Rodgers is a better quarterback than Penix is right now. Some people might disagree with that, and maybe the way Rodgers played today, maybe not so much, but I don't know. I have a lot of concerns with the Falcons more so than I do with, like, did Sauce Gardner have like super like does Sauce Gardner, is he like a downgrade, or was he like not worth I think he will end up being worth it when they don't have to start like the likes of Xavier Howard or some other bum corner out there. How concerning is it that this Atlanta team just really can't seem to get anything going on offense right now with a guy, and this gets talked about with Bo Nix also. When you draft a guy at quarterback who is 24, 25 years old, the expectation is Jaden Daniels. The expectation is Joe Burrow, right? How concerning is it that we're in year 2 of Michael Penix and he's putting up games like this against a defense that, like, it's good. It's not that good.
I'm pretty much out on Michael Penix. I'm very concerned. What trait gets you excited, or what game gets you excited, or what anything gets you excited about Michael Penix? Like, he's just kind of just a guy. Like, he just feels like, I don't know, just the most uninteresting, unexciting, like untoolsy quarterback in the league. And to some extent he is toolsy. Like, he can spin that thing, right? He's got the huge arm. I guess when I think about encouraging Michael Penix games, I really think of the Panthers game at the end of last year when he tested some really tight zone windows, and we've seen some moments like that from him this year. And he had a touchdown throw with good touch to Drake London in the first half. But overall, I don't like him because I really think his mechanics are wonky. I think there's a lot of lean. There's a lot of unevenness in his shoulders whenever he releases. And I mean, there was a Mooney corner route that he sailed so far out of bounds. Like, there was a dig to, I think, one of the tight ends that was open, need to hit it, and it's like 10 feet behind the guy. It's like, he's just so inaccurate. He's so stiff. Like, he cannot be moving his feet and throwing accurately at the same time. Like, there's no juice there. And it's like, well, okay, he can test zone windows. He can, hopefully, ideally, like, play in a phone booth from the pocket because he's tall with the strong arm. But like, when he plays that way, you can't hit anything, and he just can't move. And I'm just not interested in quarterbacks that can't move, Blaiden. Like, I wouldn't want to build around a quarterback that is so limited with their legs and so stiff on the
Matthew
move.
Stafford is 24, and he's the same guy physically that he is right now.
I guess if it looks that good, then maybe. But even still with Stafford, I feel like he's got some real serious limitations with that kind of thing that, like, I don't know, their recent schedule hasn't been able to expose. They've played the Titans, they've played the Ravens without Lamar, they've played the 49ers with the worst pass rush in the league, and one other team that I'm forgetting right now, right? Like, but Stafford has been chilling. All right, it's the Saints. The Saints. Stafford has been absolutely chilling and has been able to do all the eye manipulation stuff and has been able to, he's great, right? But like, even Stafford at this point with his mobility, I raise an eyebrow, and he's just the most field general, smartest, like, gutsiest quarterback in the pocket right now. And even then, I'm like, I don't know. So I guess if he was 24 and exactly the same, I'd still be like interested in Matthew Stafford for sure. I think the Rams can win the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford right now. But this is a young guy. Penix isn't that accurate. Penix isn't that
right. Yeah.
that much of a gamer. Like he's just not. And how is he going to develop that without the legs ever, right? Starting his career at this kind of level. And Stafford, I still trust on the move. I think maybe even more than Penix, right? I think he's more accurate with his feet moving by a lot. And he's 50.
He's 50. Well, Stafford also mastered like the sidearm cross body throw as a rookie. So he was doing it before Mahomes and them were even thinking about it. So
yeah. And one more thing I want to say about this game. We've been on it a long time. I want to go back to Sauce. They lost Buckner. He's on IR, right?
Yes.
So Tyler Algier comes in today. He's got a 73% success rate on the ground. They cannot stop somebody running behind their pads up the middle. So I do think that we felt Sauce's impact because they were able to win this game despite that. Because if it was no Sauce Gardner on London, because he followed London around in the second half, not so much in the first, but in the second half, they definitely made an effort to get Sauce on London, and it definitely slowed him down a little bit. If you didn't have that aspect and he wasn't able to slow London down at all, like, then you'd just have two massive weaknesses without Buckner. Like the defense would be so bad, like no one would be able to guard Algier, Bijan, or London, or anybody who's good on this Falcons team. So I do think you felt a little bit of impact there. And the Falcons, Richard Sherman was talking about this on Twitter. It's like, oh, you can just scheme around Sauce. That's why he'll never be worth 2 firsts. And maybe that's true because 2 firsts is a lot if he's not getting picks and he's dropping the interception opportunities he had. But like when London is on Sauce, he motions away into the slot and runs a shallow cross to get away from Sauce, which makes him a little bit predictable. Like if you can either run a route on him, right, and it probably won't work, or sure, you can scheme him away from Sauce if you want. But once he hits that motion, the linebackers have a very strong indication of like where this route is going to go. Like he's like a drop of soap in greasy water, right? It repels the entire offense somewhere else. So even though, yes, you can scheme around a corner like Sauce, you know where those scheme touches are coming and the full field isn't available. So there's still some gravity there, which, I mean, Sherm was an all-pro corner, so like maybe he knows more about this than me, but that's
but he was limited to cover 3, He was,
he's salty. He's the same as us these days. He's just an analyst, and I doubt he was giving too much thought about how his play translated to draft pick value when he was playing. So
yeah, probably not.
But anyway, that's that game.
That is that game. The Colts get a win in Berlin, 31-25. Let's now go to a game that we were going to talk about on the Patreon, but ended up not. Broncos Raiders Thursday night in the AFC West. An absolute, just an awful game, dude. We talked about Penix. Let's talk about Knicks here. I know you've been anti-Knicks before, and a lot of people hate you for it. He goes 16 for 28, a touchdown, 2 picks, and they score 10 points on offense against the Raiders. Like,
I think it's funny that this is the game where people are panicking about Knicks. There's so much dialogue about Knicks' future with this game, or if this is the bottom, or like what it looks like right now. And it's like, why are we having this conversation? I know it's a primetime game. That's why we're having it. But like, go watch Knicks at Auburn. Go watch Knicks at Oregon. Go watch Knicks in his first preseason game, and go watch Knicks right now. It's the same shit. So I feel like I hear all this conversation about like how he could get better, or is this the bottom? Like, it's always going to look like it always has looked like this. Like, why are we talking about it so much right now? Like, yeah, he has happy feet. Yeah. He's going to have good games with happy feet. We've seen that. He's going to have bad games with happy feet. We've seen that. And it's most of the time bad, right? for the vast majority that we've known Nick's in the national spotlight since he got to Auburn, it's mostly been bad. That has mostly been like a pretty major problem that affects him and prevents him from being a positive force for the Broncos. So it's like, well, when is this concerning? Is it time to rate it? How about that? That's the buzzword.
Yeah.
Is it time to press the panic button?
Is it time to press?
I don't know. Like, it's been like this the whole time. So no, it's not time to press the panic button, because why would you panic now if you weren't panicked the whole entire time? I don't know. That's how I feel.
And they won. They're 8-2, so you can't be that mad.
It's like, yeah, okay, wow. Bo Nix won an ugly game with defense. Is it time to be concerned about the Broncos? Bro, this is the Denver Broncos. This is what they've
been the Broncos all year.
This is what they will be. This is what they will do. Like, this is what Bo Nix will look like. If you have either gotten comfortable with that idea at this point, or you have not. And this is the thing that just drives me crazy about sports talk in general, is like, people treat it like such a roller coaster. Someone's the MVP front runner one week, then he's terrible, then he's great. It's like, oh, there's all these ups and downs. And it's like, for a lot of quarterbacks or individual players, like, there's not that many ups and downs. Like, they just kind of are who they are.
Well, they look like ups and downs because this week they went up against, the best defense in the NFL, and next week they go up against the worst defense in the NFL. And so if you're the same guy in each of those games, those outcomes are going to look different. Yeah. You can shape it however you want, but that's the real trend here. Yeah, but the Broncos are the same team. I do think it's interesting, though. This was the Raiders' first game without, what's his face?
What's his face?
Jacoby Myers.
Oh, yes, of course.
I'm totally blanking on his name. It's like he doesn't even exist anymore.
I mean, he's been banged up at points this season. So but since
their first game officially since he's been traded without Jacoby Myers, and passing offense was about the same. So maybe they were right to. Yeah, I really don't know what the direction is for this Raiders team.
I mean, you can't keep this offensive coordinator. You can't keep this staff. That was my main takeaway. Yeah. I mean, especially at the end when Geno got hurt and kept coming in and couldn't move. Like, he's literally dragging his back foot. Like, he clearly is not ready to go out there and engineer a game-winning drive. Like,
not even close.
To the point where, like, I'm watching it and I'm like, well, they're going to have to run, right? Because he can't drop back. You're not going to sit back there and call a pass play when your quarterback can't take steps. So
like that Jets game. Was it Jets Steelers where they didn't want to throw a Hail Mary? Because they're like, well, because he's going to take a sack anyway.
It looks like the fucking Badgers game where they're playing their fourth quarterback of the year, a true freshman fourth string. The Badgers won a game this weekend, Blaiden. They ended with 8 passing yards. 8 passing yards. Like, exactly, and that's not like net yards. Oh, well, they got 50, but there were 42 yards of sacks, right? No.
Right.
They had 8 passing yards. They completed 3 passes for 8 yards.
That's insane.
And they won because it was raining and all of Washington's players got hurt and they turned the ball over and they got field goals blocked, and the Badgers were able to win with 13 points. But like, you knew they weren't dropping back and passing because they're the Badgers on their fourth string quarterback. That college environment, that literal random college kid that was trying to win a game against a top 25 team, that is a better situation than hurt Geno in the NFL. So like, you knew it was going to be a handoff, and then the handoff would get stuffed because you're going up against a good defense who can pin their ears back and know it's a run. Okay, it's 2nd and 9 now. What's it going to be? It's going to be a screen because you can't just hand it off again.
Yep.
So then they do that. And okay, now it's 3rd and long. Okay, it's going to be a drop back, but Geno can't move, so he's going to get sacked. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. And it happened for like multiple drives. It happened for multiple drives.
This is like when you hop into Madden and you put your kicker at quarterback. Like, that's the type of offense that you run.
100%. Kicker at quarterback was Geno's situation here. And it's just malpractice. Like, Kenny Pickett is better than that. Kenny Pickett has a 60% win rate as a starter. Kenny Pickett has engineered plenty of game-winning drives in his career.
There was a moment where I thought Kenny Pickett was going to be the Cleveland Browns starter because I'm like,
and it probably would be better, like, is he terrible? Of course he is. Like,
yeah.
Can he deal with interior pressure in any kind of way? No. Does it wreck every game plan that he's in? Yes. But he won a game for the Eagles last year, like, he could still throw the football. He can still drop back and plant his back foot and climb if the pocket is clean. And Geno just didn't have that ability. He can still draw power from his back foot and throw a ball. Geno didn't have that ability. And literally you saw a coach, I don't know who it was, talking to Kenny Pickett on the sideline, right? He's ready to go in after the Bo Nix interception. Kenny Pickett's about to go in, and Geno charged out of the tent, ran past that little meeting between the coach and the quarterback, and just took over the game. It's like, who is allowing this? This is such bad culture. Like,
yeah.
If you are hurt and you cannot play.
That is what they brought in this staff to do, was change the Raiders culture, and they can't do it.
They can't do it. So I think Geno was thinking like, "Ooh, I'm so tough. Ooh, I'm gutting it out. Like, I'm winning the game." No, dude, you look like an idiot and you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
And like, this is Kenny Pickett's drive, man. And for you to not understand that because you're like so worried about your job, or you're so worried about, never getting a chance again if you go out right now, like, clearly that's what was running through his mind. And
maybe it should be.
And it should be, but at the same time, you can't allow the quarterback to commandeer. That's just not what's best for the team. So it was super embarrassing. The play calling generally was super embarrassing. Sneaking Geno Smith was super embarrassing. Like, everything about the Raiders this year have been super embarrassing for just a group I thought was going to be very competent, for a group that I thought was vets, and it's just a disaster. So why are they here? Why are they here? Can they get better? Can they learn? I don't know, because they're old already. Can you teach them new tricks? Why is it worth it? I don't know.
Yeah. It's super weird when you've got all these vets and then you've got this superstar first round pick running back, Ashton Genty, and you've got the best tight end in the NFL, right? And yet, I mean, you're just a complete disaster on offense. I mean, a complete disaster. It feels like almost just a bunch of individuals out there just like, oh, dude, go watch this. I'm going to try it. I don't know. It's like recess more than it's professional football at this point.
Yeah.
Which, like, Raiders fans are sitting here, like, hands in their face. Like, did they just compare my football team to, like, elementary school recess? But, like, no, this isn't a team. It's just not a team out there.
A teacher needs to step in and say, no more roughhousing. No more. Why are you guys sad? We said 2-hand touch, and now you're tackling, and now football is banned for a week.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
Dude, we had that, and we also had King of the Hill in Minnesota. They'd plow like the blacktop, and then all the snow would make a huge pile, and we'd all push each other off the snow pile. Like, there's this big ridge of snow, and we'd play King of the Hill. And they'd allow it, and then someone would get hurt, and then it would be banned for the rest of the winter. And it happened for 6 glorious times from kindergarten through 5th grade. Every winter, there was like 3 days where you were allowed to do it, and then someone would get hurt, and then it would get banned for the rest of winter. And that's the Las Vegas Raiders. Is they're banned for the rest of the year.
They're banned for the rest.
They it's a privilege to play. They messed it up. They're not disciplined, and now they're. Chip, you're out of here. Carroll, you're probably out of here too. Like, if Carroll got fired, I just would not even bat an eye. Like, maybe he doesn't deserve that. It's more on the offense, so I'll probably test out a new OC first. But like, who cares about these Raiders? This will be a footnote of history.
Footnote of history. Speaking of getting fired, I do think we should talk about the Giants and the Bears. Jackson Dart got hurt in this game. The Bears were down, came back, and were able to get a win here. How much time does Brian Daboll have?
Well, it's 11:24 p.m.
You're going by the minute?
He might have about 20 more seconds.
You think so? They're giving him they'll give him time to clean out his desk, and that's about it.
It is the death rattle. I mean, there's so many leaks, there's so many reports, there are burner accounts, there is all the things that occur when things are bad. I mean, it sounds like Merrill wanted Dable fired after the Denver game, and then maybe somebody convinced him, like, give him a few more weeks. Well, now they've lost twice. And last week, they played who? They played the 49ers. And I think twice the entire game, Jackson Dart hit somebody on the move. I think every other pass he completed was a hitch or a curl, and they were totally static. They just turned around and caught the ball. All right, so that was their passing offense, was just static. Throw it to Wan'Dale Robinson, and he gets tackled immediately. He hit a rail route at one point, and then he hit a deep dig when the game was over. I think those were the only throws on to a moving target or completions to a moving target that he had versus the 49ers. So that's already bad on the offensive coordinator if you can't get the ball to somebody moving in space. And then the other big problem with the offense is just that Dart is going to die. Dart feels like a bullet that you can only fire one time. Dart feels like something that is so short term right now because he got a concussion in this game and he left, and that was so predictable because last week, again, he ran the ball a lot. He got hit in the head. He totally suffered a concussion. I do not believe for 1 second that this is the first concussion that Dart has suffered. I saw him suffer a concussion last week.
I mean, dude, we've been saying this since him and Scatterboot came into the game.
Yes, since he became
immediately. It was like,
we've been saying this since preseason.
Guys. Yes,
I mean, and before that, I mean, Gruden talked to him you need to slide, and some of that is on Dart for sure. He likes playing this way, but some of it's on the coaching staff as well. I mean, he's clearly tired sometimes. He clearly is sore. It's time to stop calling QB power. All right. It's time to stop calling that play when your quarterback is getting lit up. And to me, that's where Dable has really jumped the shark there's this narrative that they're in love, that, Dable just loves Dart.
The fan fiction. Yeah. That
Dable is using Dart. All right. Dable is grooming Dart. This is toxic. He's using him for his body.
Grooming Dart.
He's using Dart for his body and is going to dump him just to save his job. This is the relationship. They're not in love. They're not in love at all.
It's so fucked up, but I do think it's true to some extent. You can see it. You can see it. They overuse. And it's not just they treated Scat the same way, It's just we are just going to muscle our way through this season, and they've lost 4 straight, dude. To some extent, something has to change, right?
Yeah.
And if that's Dable, I think that's Dable, and maybe the same is true for the Browns, though. If I'm saying this, But I think the Browns have a different problem.
Yeah, I think so too, Elena. I mean, they've got a good defensive line there in New York, and they've got a first-round quarterback, not a third-round quarterback,
Right.
And they've got Andrew Thomas on the offensive line. They've got a little bit more talent, and
they traded up into the first round for a quarterback that they liked.
Yeah. So they're definitely more win now, and it's failing miserably.
Yes.
So I think Dable's he's got about 10 seconds here. And yeah, Devin Singletary's a dog, man. He's a good running back. He always has been efficient. And I guess last year he wasn't so efficient. So maybe the Giants have a bit of an excuse. But it seemed like Scatterbo just took over the whole backfield in a league where it's a committee everywhere else. And it's just I'm not blaming them for him getting hurt on the play he got hurt on, but he runs so hard, right? They couldn't spell it. They never spelled him. They never it just feels like they're letting this duo of Dart and Scatterbo just tucker themselves out. And I've seen Dart tear his ACL. I've seen him break his collarbone. I've seen him sprain his ankle, get several concussions. Like all these, like Jesus, he's got to be sore. He's got to be so sore. And in this game, I mean, it was weird because he didn't stay down. You know, he in fact, there was a shot of him running back out on the field, and then they went to an ad break. Commercial break is over. Russell is under center. So like it got to the point where
they didn't even like announce it up.
Yeah,
like,
it just got to the point where it was like, well, you just can't really continue anymore. Like and I think he was feeling that way coming into this game, and I feel like he was clearly feeling that way just watching the tape and seeing the body language from the 49ers game or several other games this year where it's like, this guy is going to be less effective because his right arm is so sore from running. And maybe changing the play caller, that's Dart's superpower. Maybe another play caller would be disappointed with Dart if that's not what he can do. But I mean, he played a good game today. Sore right arm or anything, he still had like about 300 passing yards and was dicing up the Bears secondary, which isn't too impressive. I mean, the Bears defense is terrible, but like still, like I think there's still something there with Dart without just grinding him to a pulp. And everybody seems to dislike Dable. Like, does the media like him? Does his Wink Martindale storms out of the fucking team and franchise because of a fight with Dable? Like, he just seems like a very surly, like, doesn't have many friends in the building type of guy, which is a big difference between him and like Stefanski, for example, who seems to be very even keeled and respected overall. Like, I don't think Dable has any of that. So yeah, we're down to 5 seconds.
We're down to 5 seconds. Well, before we get into our next game here, and I do want to talk about Patriots and Buccaneers, the battle of the Brady replacements. This episode is brought to you by Square. Every fan base, everyone has this spot back home. Maybe it's a diner where you watched your team draft your star QB. I don't have that, but someone does. Maybe it's the bakery that fuels every tailgate. Maybe it's the sports bar where you've cried more than once. Those places, they are the neighborhood where, the community rallies after big wins or vents after blown leads. And when we support them, the whole area thrives because money spent locally stays local. Square powers millions of those neighborhood businesses, the places that feel like family. So go support yours and then go ahead and visit square.com/go/stay-hot to learn more. Square. See you in the neighborhood. And today we got Patriots and Buccaneers. Tom Brady was licking his chops at a game that really could have been considered game of the year. I mean, between two teams that are at the top of their division right now, playing super hot. I was very
dark horse game of the year.
Dark horse game of the year. There were a lot of cool things to see from the Patriots. Travion Henderson mainly having his breakout game, but I was very uninspired by both quarterbacks in this game to some extent. May came along later, and Baker did end up having 3 touchdowns, but I felt like for most of like the first half, especially, it was just miss, put ball in harm's way, miss, like every single drop back. It felt like neither quarterback could really get anything going until Drake May finally found like Kyle Williams on that corner route, which ended up being a touchdown. It just felt like a lot of misses in this game, but both run games felt pretty dominant. Travion Henderson went for 147. Sean Tucker for the Buccaneers had some pretty nice runs. He's a powerful runner. But yeah, just didn't feel like the best quarterbacking game ever here. I don't know if that's something that you felt the same about, or if you're going to tell me that I'm an idiot and
I don't think you're an idiot. I think the standard for the quarterback play in this one is so high because it's 2 MVP candidates. And I think with this type of game, you're expecting a signature moment. Like these are the kinds of games that decide the MVP race. Like if you go crazy, you can really lock it up in a playoff type environment, like Lamar versus Houston. Well, I guess he didn't win that year, but how about Lamar versus San Francisco? San Francisco, right? Josh Allen versus the Chiefs last year. How about that, right? Like May doesn't have very many of those games on the schedule, and neither does Baker in the division that he's in.
Right.
So this is an opportunity to put your best foot forward and force the issue here for the MVP voters. And Baker definitely didn't do that because he lost. And you don't get those kinds of games and losses.
Sure.
Fair or not for him. But May also had a pick. His completion percentage was 51.6%. So if your expectation was that kind of game, I think it's fair to say that you're underwhelmed. But I do think that May, I don't think that May play like I think that May still kind of
played a bad game. I guess it's just, I don't know, maybe I am holding him to a higher expectation because, I mean, he's been the most accurate quarterback, the most high completion percentage quarterback in the NFL this year. And yet in this game, he had one of the lowest completion percentages of anyone in the week.
Yeah, I think you are holding him to a bit too high of a standard because, like, if the standard is Lamar versus the 49ers on Sunday Night Football 2 years ago,
sure,
he didn't reach that level. But I do think that he made some ridiculous throws. Like the throw to Kyle Williams was crazy.
That was great.
The touchdown before the second half on fourth down was crazy and a fucking bailout. Like Vrabel told him, just burn a play here. Like they basically kneeled it. It was like a very half-hearted QB sneak on the 1 yard line just to run the clock down. So they wasted first down. They run the clock. And then they actually start trying on second down and ensure that Baker Mayfield and company don't have time to drive at the end of the second half. I thought that was giving a lot of credit to the Buccaneers offense, which is good.
Yeah.
But Vita Veas lives there. All right. Like you may want to spend these chances on the goal line. I think I'd be more worried about getting past those guys than defending a 2-minute drill from Mayfield as good as they've been. So they failed.
He had another really crazy play in the pocket where he's got I think it was Vea on this play that broke through and he like sidestepped around him, like readjusted his body and threw around another defender. And like when the dust settled, the camera pans back to, or like cuts back to Drake May, and he's just got like, you see there were actually 4 defenders like surrounding him, and there's not a single other Patriots jersey, and he completes a pass to Mac Hollins. And those were plays where you're just like, oh my God, yeah, he's still an absolute freak.
He had a play too where it was pressure from a bunch of people. Maybe we're talking about the same play, but the defensive end popped out. There's like 3 people with their hand up.
I think we might be talking about the same play.
Sorry, I was looking at.
No, so it wasn't Vea then. It wasn't Vea that showed.
But yeah, he was under a ton of pressure. And I think he hit a ton of explosives. So though
there were a lot of incompletions early that I thought he normally hits those.
He does, and it was raining a little bit, and they could have jumped out to a bigger lead, but his average of target was 11.8 yards down the field, and I think that explains a lot of
significantly higher.
Yeah, I think that explains a lot of the completion percentage. The pick in the end zone that he threw, great play by the DB, more than like a bad read by him or anything. Like it ended up being a pretty average game efficiency-wise for him, but I do think that it was an MVP type of performance. I really do. I don't think it was a signature game, but I think it kept him very much on track in the MVP race for sure.
I think it's definitely helped that Henderson went crazy. And I think it's ridiculous that it took like every other running back getting hurt for them to to force their hand to put their best runner and most explosive player on the field. But I'm glad it's happened. It took he was averaging way less than 10 touches per game, but like he was getting less than 10 carries per game And then now 3 games in a row, he's had 10, 14 carries. In this one, he went just absolutely ridiculous then. So,
yeah, he looked like a little bit like Jonathan Taylor in this game. Like, he's not quite that well built. He's not quite that.
no,
I don't think he's
his
got that
contact balance
sustainability.
isn't quite as good. But
I do think, like, in this game particularly, like, some of those big runs, the speed, the running behind your pads, the hanging behind the offensive lineman. I mean, the big one in the fourth quarter was totally getting out to the perimeter. He cuts back, tucks in behind the left side of the line. Everybody goes under their blocks and gets sucks up towards the middle. Then he pops out and goes up the sideline for a huge gain. Like, that's literally exactly what I was talking about with Taylor and his big runs in the Falcons game. Like, that was a very, and a lot of quarterbacks or running backs do this. Like, it's always what I'm looking for. Can you feign that cutback, get everybody backside, and then pop out the other side? Saquon did it in his big Rams run in the playoffs last year. Like, that is, to me, a really great way for running backs to just create their own holes and create their own yardage. And Henderson really flashed it. But yeah, I thought overall it was tough sledding. It was a low success rate and kind of high EPA type of game, like against the bear fronts, against the blitzes. They couldn't really get much going on the ground, maybe play in and play out, but there were opportunities behind the defense to rip off big plays, and the Patriots were able to be explosive.
yeah, and so the Patriots are 3rd in the AFC, still winning their division, comfortably winning their division now with a Buffalo loss. Tampa now sits at 6-3, falling a little bit lower in the general AFC standings here.
The Packers passed them. They're 3 seeds. The Packers are 3 seeds now instead of 4. Yeah.
Yes. So I still feel pretty good about them, but like, I don't know. I almost look at like the current NFC playoff picture would be Seattle, Philly, Green Bay, Tampa, the Rams, the Lions, the Bears. And I almost feel like Tampa's the worst team here. I don't know. They're definitely the only team that like you might take them over is Chicago right now.
Chicago, yeah. I mean, Chicago, they won today, but they barely beat the Giants. I think the story with Chicago is everything looked bad except for Caleb Williams, pretty much. Like, the line looked bad, but the defense looked bad.
I think you'll take
the receivers looked bad
at this point.
But they could not sack Caleb Williams, and he was able to make plays. And I think overall, like, the run game, I guess Darnell Wright looks really good. Darnell Wright looks like a superstar these last few weeks. So the run game, you like Caleb Williams, you're starting to think like, okay, Ben Johnson has this team on track to look a little Lions-y here eventually, but you got to pair that offense is still a ways away because of the weapons overall, and they got to pair that with a defense. I mean, they've gotten kind of smoked 2 weeks in a row here. So I think I'd put them ahead of Chicago.
You would?
I think I would, yeah.
I think that's fair. But outside of that, I mean, give me the Lions, give me the Rams, and definitely give me Green Bay, Philly, and Seattle right now.
Yeah, they're very fortunate that the Panthers lost today. They're very fortunate that the Panthers lost today to the Saints.
I mean, we'd be talking about a very weird division right now with the Panthers as... I mean, would they be? No, they wouldn't be leading, but it'd be close. It'd be close. So that's Patriots and Buccaneers. You know, Theo, I didn't catch this game, but you watched Miami and Buffalo. And, you know, we're talking about this AFC East division and how crazy it's gotten now with the Patriots really pulling away. And they already have a win over Buffalo. Buffalo takes a loss to Miami today. And I have 2 screenshots here just relaying the last 4 games for both of these teams. Buffalo gets beat by the Falcons, belt to ass against the Panthers. Then they beat the Chiefs. Then they get belt to ass by the Dolphins. The Dolphins get slammed by the Browns, then slam the Falcons. Then they get slammed by the Ravens, and then they go off and crush the Bills. It's just like both of these teams are just kind of in a mess of they lose these really awful games and it looks like everyone's getting fired. And you're like, what's the problem? Why can't they do anything right? And then they go off and they get a big win. And then the cycle just repeats. I've seen a lot of Bills fans questioning why they didn't do anything at the trade deadline after this game.
Yeah.
Where is your main concern right now?
Definitely the defense once again. The Chiefs dropped back a lot, and the Bills were able to cook them. The Dolphins were able to kind of bypass that by keeping the ball on the ground and being explosive on the ground. They only ran 21 plays the entire game. Is that right?
That can't be true.
That can't be right.
Because Devon Achane had 22 carries.
Tua had 21 plays. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm like, there's no
way that's right. I'm on the RBSDM box scoring because analytics nerds made it only the quarterbacks show up, and it says 21 plays. It's
analytics nerds made it only the quarterbacks show up.
All right. But they didn't run that many plays, to be fair. Overall, but Achane may have had a better game than Jonathan Taylor, if I may be so bold. Like
he went kind of crazy.
He went kind of crazy. I mean, he didn't have 244 rushing yards, but he also only had 22 attempts. He averaged 8 a pop, and had a crazy 59-yarder where he met a linebacker in the hole, made him look stupid, and then burst off like he never had anybody in his way at all. Like just so much speed, so much wiggle in a tight space. And they were able to lean on him, and he just ripped off gain after gain after gain. And just again, some of the guys on the Bills team is just like, who are these dudes? It's who were this? I mean, obviously there's your usual offenders. Like after Achane shook that guy in the hole, he met Jordan Poyer trying to tackle him from depth.
How old is Jordan Poyer, dude? This is the equivalent of having Xavier Howard out there. You know? Like, what are we doing?
Who else has showed up on the Bills defensive? Like Javon Solomon, he didn't have a very good day. Cam Lewis, Jordan Poyer leading the team in tackles, of course. You got Jamarcus Ingram. He had some rough times out there. Balin Spector got some minutes. Larry Ogunjobi, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Like
Cleveland Browns legend, yeah.
I don't know. It felt last week like, oh man, they got a pass rush. They got Cole Bishop, who had a pick today, right? He's kind of continued. It's like, well, if they can really rush four,
Cole Bishop's a good player.
If they can really rush four, and they're gonna have a little bit more juice now with Hairston, who also had a pick today, and didn't he? Is that true? Right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So it felt like, okay, well, maybe they figured something out mid-season with some of their development, and then today that just all went out the window, and I'm back to being like, well, they just don't have the layers in their defense that they need to have to be a true all-time contender. Maybe they're a contender this year because, like we said, no one really stands out, and they just smoked the Chiefs. I thought they were the best team in the AFC again. Right. But just really bad run defense bodies, and sure,
this is why this is why the Colts scare you going into the playoffs, where it's like, dude, right. Miami just slaughtered you with this game plan. You're telling me the Colts aren't going to give Jonathan Taylor 40 touches in a game against Buffalo? Like, they absolutely will, dude.
Yeah, this was kind of a weird Josh Allen game too. Like, they had 0 points going into the fourth quarter, and they were kind of cowardly. They punted on there was 4th and 1, and they should just go for it. Especially early in the game, they should go for it anywhere when it's 4th and 1. I don't care if it's 4th and 1 from the 2-yard line, which I don't even think is possible. But if they were in that situation, they should go for it early in the game. Like, even if it means giving the Dolphins the ball at the 3, like Josh Allen is converting that sneak. So punting it on 4th and 1 was ridiculous. The next 4th and 1 they have on the next drive, it's a 30-yard bomb downfield instead of a QB sneak. Like, these drives should sustain. And if they do, like,
am I seeing this right? Did he target? Who did he target on this? He targeted Jackson Hawes on 4th and 1, 30 yards down the field.
Yeah, it was like a boot, and then the flat was taken away, and then he had Hawes. But it's like, why did you drop back? Just sneak.
That's so weird. Okay.
So, questionable play calling. Deion Dawkins had like one of his worst games of the season. Like, Bradley Chubb was getting buckets on him. I think he led week 10 in pressures, which was weird. But like, overall, at the end of the day, like, it's 4th quarter. The Bills are down 2 possessions. The 4th quarter comes on, and they're just ripping off explosive gain after explosive gain. Like, the first drive of the 4th quarter, they moved down the field like it was nothing. Like,
I see 8 plays, 98 yards, and a touchdown.
Is that the first drive of the 4th quarter?
That is.
Yeah. It took like no time at all, too. And then they go for 2, which they need to cut it to a 1-score game. Shakir gets tackled a millimeter short. They throw it to him on a screen. He tries to dive over somebody, and it doesn't work. So it's like, damn, he's a millimeter short. But there's still a lot of ball game left. Tua comes in. Does he immediately throw a pick? Is it Hamburger City? It's chopped cheese.
I see 6 plays, 12 yards, and in a Tua interception. This was the Hairston pick.
Yes, this was the Hairston pick downfield. Classic Tua deep ball that gets picked. He hit one today, so shout out Tua, but he did have 2 Tua deep ball picks. So then they get the ball back, and it's like, okay, we're good. They immediately start driving again. They throw it to a running back in the flat. Dolphins defense can't tackle. That's an explosive gain right away. Like, it's easy. Then they're in another short situation. This time they do sneak it. Josh Allen takes the sneak like 20 yards. Like, he runs through the pile and then keeps on running after the sneak. And you're like, okay, like, this comeback is still happening. And guess who strips him 20 yards downfield, Blaiden, on the Dolphins? You know,
is it Jordan Brooks?
Jordan Brooks came in and stripped him.
Let's go.
So it looked like, and that was when the game really fell over for the Bills. And maybe even then it didn't, but like the very next play, it was the Achane run for 50 something yards. So that's when they put it in within 3 scores. And then they started to press a little bit. Josh Allen wasn't satisfied with the blitz answers. He started to take some negative plays. He still like converted a 4th and 15 later or something like that. So like, he's very explosive still, obviously. Like, you feel like if the Bills would get their head out of their ass, they could win these games pretty easily. But this was just one where they were up in there, and yeah, just a bad loss. The Packers took a bad loss to the Panthers last week. This one felt pretty similar. Just like, man, get aggressive. You've got the guy. And then maybe there are times where, well, not that aggressive. Like, just get in a rhythm, man. Like, when it's do the right thing in the right moment. Like, damn it, play callers. So it was that kind of game. Do the right
thing. Just don't be bad, but also be good.
And I feel like Allen, like, late in the game, you kind of understand when it's a blitz and he's not satisfied with just a hitch route, which is the right thing to do versus the blitz. He's like, well, I can make this guy miss and I can throw it 40 yards down the field. But it does kind of feel like Allen is in that mode all the time, sort of sometimes, right? Where like he's not satisfied with the easy answer and presses, and it turns into a weird negative. And I do think those were kind of apparent the whole game. Not going for it and things like that. Like, I think Allen had eyes maybe a bit too big for his stomach here, and chaos ball for him just kind of went south. It's very rare that happens. And I think ignoring some of those easy answers is sort of what makes him special. And I don't get upset about it, really. It's kind of what I look for when I scout prospects and things like that. But But today is the other side of that coin, where it ends pretty bad.
Fair enough. So Buffalo drops to 6-3 here.
Blaiden, you watched the battle for the number 1 overall pick.
Browns Jets.
And I've been yapping too much, so I want to hear about that.
I mean, what is there to say? The Browns offense sucks. It continues to suck. This was the first game after Kevin Stefanski gave up play calling to was it Tommy Rees, and everyone's like, this is the same cycle. They transition play calling over to the OC, and then the offense stays bad, and then the OC gets fired instead of Kevin Stefanski. And I'm like, that should say something, that maybe the problem is that the roster construction is bad here. And that's just what it continues to be. Judkins had a fine game. Dylan Gabriel was like, whatever. Malachi Corley had some cool moments. They had a pretty cool like jet sweep. They hit twice to Corley where he just like cut it up early, and those ended up being some cool plays. Gabriel did hit one really nice throw to Judy in the end zone. But the same problems that we've been saying with Gabriel all year remain true. He can't push the ball down the field. He can't see over his offensive line. He can't really scramble and make stuff happen with his legs. And so the Browns offense just continues to be bad. But the main issue with this game is the Justin Fields had 54 passing yards and they still won. How does that happen, you ask? The Browns had probably the worst special teams game of all time.
There you go.
So they score their first touchdown, and they score on I think it was on their opening drive that they scored. No, it was their second drive. Their opening drive went 4 plays, -8 yards, punt. Their second drive, 9 plays, 95 yards, they score a touchdown. This is a great drive by Cleveland. David Njoku touchdown. Kick it off. It's a 99-yard kick return touchdown. Of course it is, Why wouldn't it be? Browns come out on the next drive. 3 plays. They go 3 and out, punt. That is a punt return touchdown. So it's a back-to-back kick return, punt return touchdown sequence. That has not happened in the NFL in over a decade. I think they said the last time was 2011. It has not happened for the Jets ever.
Yeah.
And so it's very much we are the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are the Browns moment.
You think you can out-tank the Browns, New York?
No, you can't. You can't. Just awful. Just like an awful special team sequence, and that really cost the Browns the game. Because the Jets offense wasn't particularly good. They only scored 10 points all game. Or not, because they got a field goal at the end too. So they got 13 points all game. If we don't give up those 2 disastrous plays on special teams, we win. But unfortunately, special teams is 900% of the game.
So the game, yeah.
and so it does matter, and so they lost because of that. Even though the Browns offense really didn't play that bad, it's just it has the same limitations it's always had. But I even thought about locking this game. I was like, man, against a Jets team that just traded away their 2 best players, right? Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, no longer there, already considered bottom 3, maybe the worst team in football. I think the Browns on paper are better than this team, but they give up the 2 back-breaking plays early, and they just don't have the juice on offense to really dig themselves out of a hole. So I think that covers most of it.
So Ben Solak has a good stat here where he says in NFL history, or since 1950, since 1950, teams were 225-0 when holding opponents to 175 or fewer yards and committing 0 turnovers. 225-0. That's now 225-1. Blaiden.
Yeah, it's just just when you think you've got everything.
you know who that one loss is. You would need to see the game today if you could guess who that
right.
One loss
If we were on Nerd Sesh, we're going to be on Nerd Sesh 30 years from now, right? And they're going to rip off that stat, and it's going to be
even if I have
500.
Alzheimer's at that time, I will say the Browns.
You'll say the Browns. The stat won't. It'll be teams are 501 at that point, right? And because no one else is going to find a way to lose this type of a game. And the answer will be the Browns. It'll always be the Browns. It's just such a Cleveland Browns loss. And there's more people calling for the fire of Kevin Stefanski. They do it every single week. It doesn't matter like if it's his fault or not. It's just like he just like we talk about like the Raiders culture and how like they just like do not have a grip on this team. That's what people think is happening in Cleveland right now. They're like Kevin Stefanski's just like he's not a leader of men. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like such a well-respected play caller and coach. It not just in like the Cleveland Browns sphere, but also just like in the NFL. Like he just has a different level of respect than I think fans of the Browns give him. It's very weird to hear, especially when I see people like we need to fire Stefanski and promote Jim Schwartz to head coach. I'm like, Jim Schwartz could have been a head coach this season if he wanted to, right? Like someone definitely would have given him a job.
He's had a job as head coach before.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's had a job, but like every time a coordinator goes crazy, they're like, oh, someone has to have. Or I guess last season he would have had that chance after 23. Everyone wants to give someone a head coaching job. But yeah, one, Jim Schwartz has already had that and he was not good at it. And two, he said he doesn't want to be a head coach again, probably because he was really bad at it. So yeah, like there's no world where you fire Stefanski, promote Jim Schwartz, and things are better. That's just not like feasible solution.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Stefanski. I think it might be destined that they mutually part ways. Like maybe it's a firing, but like how much does Stefanski really want to even be there anymore if it really comes down to it? Like I think he's safe. Like he's probably going to get fired from Cleveland by the time this is all over, but like he's safe in terms of like his reputation probably around the league. So
he can go get a head coaching job in like a lot of different, like if he was like we've said this before, if he were the Ravens head coach, we would say they'd win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think he's definitely very different than like Dable getting fired, I think. So that might be the reality we're headed to, but I definitely overall agree with you where it's like the fans the Browns are the Browns and he's leading the Browns, but like it's not necessarily all his fault. And he's definitely a big contributing factor to the good that they've had in the playoff wins that they've had in his tenure. So
let me ask you this. I haven't watched really any college football. Who should the Browns be looking at in the draft?
College? Oh, in the draft?
Yes.
Let's see. Well, the Titans still have the best odds for the number 1 overall pick.
Sure. Let's say they have a top 3 pick, not number 1, because if we know it, like the Browns are going to be bad, but they're not going to be bad enough to get the first pick. Right.
Yeah. So this is actually a good question because the next window was so bad that I spent my time scouting the Arkansas quarterback Green instead of watching what I was supposed to be watching. And I've got an opinion on some of the top quarterbacks.
You were supposed to be watching Trump call the
game,
Detroit game, which first like the worst PR stunt I've ever seen in my life. Like just so bad. They're making 6-7 jokes with the president of the United States. I'm like, this is horrible.
Dude, Jonathan Vilma talking to Trump is like...
It's just like, what are we doing?
Actually, if I could have like picked the worst announcing booth before the season, like those might be my top 2 picks.
Whoa, like what? Anyway.
Dude, Vilma, the camera went to like the Lions offensive line coach or something, like just this old fat white guy with a beard, and he's like, there's Christian Mahogany on the sidelines learning. It's not Christian Mahogany.
That's not.
Yeah, no, I did not watch Trump talking about how bad of a situation he inherited. Which kind of a funny thing to be talking about on a Washington Commanders broadcast because it's kind of a bad situation they inherited. But Anyway, I think the Browns, if there's a QB1 in this class, to me, it's Dante Moore, I think. I don't know if he comes out because I think he still needs a lot more time. I think reading out full progressions, he still looks a little bit uncomfortable doing that. It doesn't feel like he's really looking to access some of the aggressive reads in those moments. But I don't know. I feel like he has some footwork in tight pockets that Fernando Mendoza doesn't. Like it feels like he's got some sort of ability to avoid multiple points of pressure and kind of weave in and then back out and kind of back in and just find these kind of impossible creases to get through. He's got a big arm, I think. He's pretty accurate. He's really good ball handling where like you think about Tua and some of that Miami stuff. Like I think he's got that kind of ball handling and release speed and kind of trust in the system at Oregon, while also having like some more of an arm and more of escapability. But I at the end of the day, I don't know if he's such a supreme athlete, and I think he still needs a lot more time. Where it's like I think right now he's got more of a second round grade, and maybe somebody would rather take a shot at him in the end of the first round and then develop him over the course of multiple years. So I don't know if he's the Browns man. Maybe Mendoza is that guy, and Mendoza's cool. He's got length, he's got height, he can throw more from a phone booth. He's got a little bit more like acceleration and get off than you might expect, but I don't know. I don't know about quarterbacks in this class, man. I'll be honest.
I'm looking at like the PFF big board right now, and they don't have a single quarterback in the top 5. Their first guy is Mendoza at 8, and then Moore is 9, and then Ty Simpson at 12, who I know you hate.
I'm not a big fan of him.
Lenora Sellers is all the way down at 49.
I think
but a guy
fair.
who I really liked coming into the season was Nussmeier, and I feel like he's fallen off
He got benched.
A lot of people's.
He got benched in the last game. Yep.
Oh, dude. That bad, huh?
Yeah, it's that bad. Like maybe Mateer, I still gotta look at him. So like maybe do you trade for a guy like Davis Mills after a game like today and then pick somebody like, I don't know, man. I feel like this is kind of a rough class, but like somebody like Jordan Tyson, somebody like Ruben Bain, who I think is pretty good. Maybe not a number 1 overall pick type good. Somebody like TJ Parker, I think is pretty good. I think. So
Ruben Bain's the guy that I see consistently mocked as like number 1.
Yeah.
Like projected as the number 1 player in the class.
I don't see him as a number 1 overall pick type of talent. He's good. He's real good. I think he's coordinated. He's got a big ass. All right. He's on the all ass team. I think he can hold up setting the edge and generating some power. But I think his overall get off and length makes his speed to power a bit disappointing for how big his ass is.
Yeah.
And I think he still is kind of inaccurate landing some of his moves. And I think, but I think his bend and his stoutness and some of his coordination and fluidity in his hips makes him like a good prospect, but maybe not a top 5 in the draft type prospect. That's kind of the book on Ruben Bain for me. But
yeah,
I don't know
who
they should
suck
pick.
For like the Browns to have this like horrible offensive year and they have like a top 3 pick and they end up taking a defensive player.
Yeah.
Like they're already good on defense. And it's like they'll like if they get Bain or Downs or one of the Clemson guys, like maybe they'll be better. I don't know. Maybe they should just pick Jeremiah Love and call it a day. Who knows?
Yeah, Love is pretty good. But maybe they should take Tyson or Carnell
Arizona
Tate
State guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe one of these wide receivers really high. I think I'd like that for them more than Love, but we'll get into scouting another time. But yeah, I did not watch much of the 3 o'clock window.
Most people don't watch. Most people don't watch the Browns, and most people were probably bored out of their mind during the 4 o'clock window. Which I guess brings us to Sunday night, where we saw a game that a lot of other people were bored by watching.
Oh yeah, this one sucked. even worse.
Two teams that I'm realizing the Chargers and the Steelers are the same team. Like they are the same exact team on different tiers. The Chargers are just a better version of what the Steelers are trying to be. The Chargers have a better quarterback. They have a better group of receivers. And so they're able to do this lulling you offensively sort of game plan and just kind of chip away until eventually, like all of a sudden you look up and you're down, 20 points. You're like, oh my God, I blinked and all of a sudden the game's like totally out of hand. And they just kind of wait for you to make a mistake, right? Both of these teams kind of, I feel like, play this way on both sides of the ball. And the Chargers just didn't make a mistake. The Steelers made a couple of them. Rodgers had some rough interceptions in this game.
Yeah.
And that was the dagger, right? But the other thing that really made it clear that the Chargers had a better handle on the way they were able to play this game is, did you take a look at the time of possession at the end of this one? The Chargers had the ball for almost 37 minutes. They just had the ball like the entire game. And that's what, like, during the game, I'm like, I feel like the Steelers aren't ever on the field here. And that's because they could just never really get into a rhythm. It's like the entire first quarter, they had 10 plays in the entire first quarter. They go 3 plays punt, 4 plays field goal, 3 plays safety. They come out in the second quarter, they miss a field goal, punt, intercept. I love safeties, dude.
Safeties are the best. Cool. Safeties are absolutely the best.
You've got this sport where normally scores are like 14-7, 21-14, and all of a sudden you turn on this game 5-3. Come on, dude.
It's just such a satisfying outcome to a drive. Like, damn, they got 2 points and they're getting the ball back. Like, you don't see it all the time, but something about it feels so fair to me. Like, it's one of many football scenarios, right? There's so many different ways to score points. It's not just put the ball in the basket. It's not just hit home. Going around the bases is one run, right? It's not a goal is worth 1 point. There's field goals, there's touchdowns, there's extra points, and there's safeties. And the safety is it's just weird, and it's the best one to see. Like when you see a safety, like all of a sudden you're like, hell yeah, I saw a safety this week.
It's like, I don't know. It's not quite as like monumental as a grand slam. But it's really cool because it doesn't happen that often, but it happens often enough that like you'll see a few any given season. You'll see quite a few any given season, and every time it's just like something ridiculous has to happen for a safety to take place, and yet they happen quite frequently because the NFL is a weird league. But it's just the Chargers, I think, having more receiving options, which is weird to say because I feel like they haven't had that for a long time. That really is, I think, the difference maker between these two teams, where the Steelers only have one way to stretch the field, right? It's like underneath, and then all of a sudden they're going to take a shot to DK.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chargers just had an answer for that. They just like did a good job covering him. They were just prepared every single time they wanted to go deep. They just had the guy strapped up, and when they're not,
and Rodgers missed the one where he was open. He was open one time, and he just missed him.
And so like eventually, if the Steelers aren't able to hit those shots, then they really have no big plays in their bag, and they don't have anyone else on this outside of Warren. Warren's the one other, good threat they have, but they don't have any like consistent like winning underneath from the receivers. It's all tight ends. So.
I think the key, I think they'd like to play the same way, or their identity is the same, but I think the difference between the two of them is the reality of their play calling, where neither of them is really built to put up points in huge bunches. Because, there's the offensive line for the Chargers, there's the quarterback and receivers for the Steelers. The difference to me this year is like, well, the the Chargers drop back anyway. And basically, Minter baited the Steelers. And it's not even bait. It's just like something that naturally happens because of their two philosophies. But like, it's second and 10 or whatever. Yep. And of course, Minter is playing his too high shell. It's an even front. So there's 3 interior offensive linemen versus 2 defensive tackles. And Tomlin is looking at that and saying, that's a look we like to run the football. And so it ends up being second and 10 and they're running. They're running on second and 10. It just sucks. Whereas the Chargers have one of the highest second and long pass rates in the league. Like 1 out of every 20 times, maybe it'll be a run. But most of the time they're putting it in Justin Herbert's hands. And despite the fact that he's getting shellacked behind that offensive line, and he was getting shellacked tonight.
He got hit a lot.
When it hits, it's a 50-yard pass to Ladd or whatever. It's like when it hits, it's a whole shot for 25. When it hits, it's Herbert scrambling for a 10-yard gain. Like he's he's inherently an explosive player and generates explosive plays. So it's like, well, it's not going to happen handing it off to Vidal behind that offensive line. The offensive line sucks pass protecting and run blocking.
Fine player.
He has. But I'm just saying the run block, like just because the pass protection is bad doesn't mean you should hand it off because the run blocking is just as bad. So you might as well put it in Herbert's hands and an inherently explosive player.
Yeah.
Versus Vidal, who's not. So the Chargers are smart and the Steelers are dumb, really, is what it comes down to.
I mean, we've known the Steelers are dumb, but I mean, there's just a lot. Like it starts with their sort of team build. Like just because you traded for DK doesn't mean you had to trade away George Pickens. I often think about how different this offense would look with both of them. The the Bengals don't just they didn't trade away T. Higgins when they got Jamar Chase. They kept both because they're like, having 2 great receivers makes life really difficult for defenses. And the Steelers just don't have a way to make life really difficult for defenses. I mean, this is literally how they beat the Colts, is they've tried to force errors on the Colts offense. And then they were like, well, now we have the ball in good field position. Worst case scenario, we get a field goal. Best case scenario, we only have to drive like 50 yards to get a touchdown now instead of 75 or 80. It just totally changes the math when like the offense really isn't the plan here for the Steelers. It almost feels like they just don't care about having a good offense.
No, they don't. And this should have been the worst game of Rodgers' career. At the end of it, he ended up throwing a touchdown to Roman Wilson, which saved it. But Matt Harmon tweets out that this is the 7th worst game of his career by total EPA, the 9th worst of his career by passer rating, the 12th worst of his career by adjusted yards per attempt. And I might punish it a little bit more than that. It was so bad. It was bad. Like, I don't care about that garbage time touchdown.
Horrific. I mean, it was right to the DB. Yeah, dude. Really bad game for me.
And they don't have Howard available. He's on IR, which I didn't realize, because like if Howard was available, I would have put him in this game. Like I would have benched Rodgers and seen what you had in the young guy. Like it's kind of weird to say because they're in the playoff hunt technically, but I don't know, dude. Like
how much of the Steelers are good when they don't have expectations, but when you put expectations on them, all of a sudden they fall apart. How much do you buy into that?
I mean, they're a lot. They won that. Who do they play next week?
Next week they have Cincinnati.
Yeah, they'll probably lose that one. And then next week they'll win.
Then they have Chicago after that. Yeah,
they'll win that one.
they'll Buffalo after that. Then they go at Baltimore. Yeah,
they might beat Buffalo and then lose to Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then I think we got a pretty good idea how the rest of their season is going to go.
Could we predict the rest of the Steelers schedule to
Sure. We got so we're at They lose to Cincinnati. Everyone counts them out. Then they go on the 2-game win streak.
Buffalo,
people are back.
Chicago and Buffalo. Then they lose to Baltimore.
Okay, the division's cooked.
They play Miami, Detroit, Cleveland.
Miami, Detroit, Cleveland. They lose to Miami. They lose to Detroit. They can't just win every good game on their schedule.
Sure.
And now it's like, okay, they're really gone. But they pull it back. They beat Cleveland. Is that it?
Yeah, and then they finish it off
with
in
Baltimore.
Pittsburgh with Baltimore.
And then they win that one easily because Lamar is sick. So that's
Lamar is sick.
That's 4 more wins the rest of the year. What does that get them to? 9?
So we just gave them 9 and 8 again.
Yeah, it's yeah. I feel very confident about that. They will win the last Ravens game. They'll beat the Browns. They will beat Buffalo, and they will beat who is the other? The Bears. Those 4 wins. Those are 4 wins, and that's how they get to 9.
I'm on board with it, man. Yeah, 9 and 8. They may or may not make the playoffs. We don't know that at this point, but if they do, we know they'll get slaughtered because they'll play like
with the playoffs inherently comes some expectation.
Exactly. Right. And then they'll play like Kansas City because they'll be the 7 seed and Kansas City will be the 2 seed, and they will get just handed because Mahomes won't make any mistakes, and that'll be it. They won't have a chance.
Maybe they'll play the Broncos. Maybe they'll have a fraud off. Steelers.
They could play Denver. They could.
Steelers playoff game would be hilarious. Everyone would be so fucking ticked off. It would be awesome. Bo Nix versus Rodgers in the defense bowl. Shout out the Chargers, though. They do have 7 wins. I actually thought they were going to get upset in this game because I'm like, dude, I saw what the Steelers defense did last week. Like,
yeah,
Herbert's going to get nuked and they're going to score 10 points and they're going to lose.
The Steelers defense has really turned things around.
Yeah, because they did get nuked, but the difference is, well, when Daniel Jones gets nuked, it's fumbles, and when Justin Herbert gets nuked, it's like punts for the most part.
Yeah, he holds on to the ball, and he might still find a way to get out of it
on a couple drives. Yeah.
So it's like it's not fumbles. It's mostly the fumbles. It's not only like with the fumble. Like we talk about punts and taking sacks can be somewhat equivalent to a turnover because they are drive killers. The difference is the Steelers don't have drives. So you just don't want to put them in your own territory like immediately. If you can avoid doing that, you can probably beat them, and the Chargers did that today. So, yeah. But the Steelers defense has looked much better the last couple of weeks, to give them some credit here. Their offense looks terrible.
Got to get to 9 and 8 somehow.
Got to get to 9 and 8. They will. They'll find a way. They're 5 and 4 right now. But shout out the Chargers moving to 7 and 3. We're at an hour 38. Do you want to talk about the NFC West real quick? We don't have to talk about the 2 slaughter fests that happened with the Seahawks and the Cardinals and the Rams and 49ers. But the Seahawks and the Rams play each other next week. I mean, this is basically the battle for the division right now. Both of these teams at 7 and 2. Who do you like more in this game with Stafford looks, is close. We talk about if there's a quarterback who's going to win MVP, I feel like it might be Stafford right now. How many touchdowns has he thrown consecutively without an interception now? I think it's like 22 or something.
Something like that. He's thrown 4 picks, 0 interceptions, 3 games, or 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 3 games in a row. That's pretty good. They have outscored opponents like 100-something to 20 the last month. Seahawks pretty much the same thing. It's definitely feeling like an NFC Championship game preview, right? It feels like this could be the last 2 teams left for sure. And I think we should talk about who wins this on Wednesday.
Okay. We'll do that.
I think we should talk about who wins that on Wednesday.
We'll do that because then we'll actually be able to say if it's an NFC Championship game preview.
Here's what I do want you to know. Here's what I do want to know. Who do you think is winning tomorrow at the game I'm at? Packers, Eagles.
That's exactly what I was about.
Am I going to be happy?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. This game feels like a really big toss-up. The Eagles kind of feel like they're finding their stride, which makes me worried for you.
Mhm.
But I do also still think the Packers are. It's weird to say because I mean they're 5-2-1. This is a good team. I think they're better than their record suggests. Their losses feel very like bizarro, like games that they should not have lost, and then they tie Dak Prescott going absolute berserk mode, having like the best game of any quarterback this season. I think this game could be anywhere on that spectrum.
Yeah, I think the Packers are not going to be in
You
the
don't think they're
NFC
gonna-
Championship game right now.
Mm.
But the thing that's giving me hope that I'm going to see a good game tomorrow is the Eagles are not clicking to the same extent the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks are.
True.
And we're not that far removed from the Eagles losing to the Broncos, and we're not that far removed from the Giants doubling them up. So I'm hoping that, like, the Packers just took a rough L, but the same way the Eagles bounced back after their rough L's, I do think the Packers are capable of it. I do think Green Bay is capable of it. They have really a big offensive advantage over the Eagles defense when you look at the numbers this year. And I know the Eagles defense has been banged up. Maybe this is the healthiest version of them next week, but I'm not afraid to put my faith in Jordan Love to sling it and keep us in it. And I think our passing attack can maybe be more efficient than their passing attack because that's the way it's been. So I'm thinking that.
I mean, you don't have to like be cautious about saying that. I mean, that's just true.
That's the
Packers
way it's been.
The Packers are the third team are the third best offense in the NFL by EPA per play. They're the number one offense in the NFL, the number one drop back offense in the NFL by EPA. So like that's not like a ridiculous statement at all to say.
Yeah, I think Lane and Micah is a good matchup for us. So I don't know if they'll win. In fact, I think overall the Eagles' talent will get them. But you know, I think that I'm going to see I think I'm going to leave after the fourth quarter. Let's put it that way. I don't think I'm going to leave in the third. So that's my prediction.
Even if the Browns got blown out, I would stay the whole time.
Yeah, I think I would too. I got nothing better to do than stay at Lambeau. So
yeah,
that's more metaphorical than anything else.
It is. But okay, well, I'll be rooting for you a little bit, but I gotta rock my Jalen Hurts jersey. It's nothing personal. He's just my goat, and I have to show him love.
It's fair. You wear a lot of Browns jerseys and a lot of Vikings jerseys, so I'm assuming that your jersey isn't necessarily good luck. So I'm okay with
Interesting. A lot of Browns jerseys.
No?
Oh, you're saying I have...
Yeah, like you wearing a jersey doesn't have much impact on
me specifically.
The team you repping winning the game. It doesn't seem to have a lot of luck correlated with it. You're in a Laquan Treadwell Vikings jersey right now.
And the Colts won. I wore it for Laquan Treadwell.
This is spiritually a Colts jersey. Okay.
It is for whoever the team that he is playing for.
Okay, it's a Treadwell jersey. It's not a Vikings jersey.
It's not a Vikings jersey. If I were wearing a Josh Cribbs jersey, that is a Browns jersey.
Okay, good to know.
I'm wearing my Nick Chubb jersey, that is a Browns jersey. As much as I love Nick Chubb, he is mid now.
It's not a Texans jersey.
It's not a Texans jersey.
Got it.
But Jalen Hurts, that is a Jalen Hurts, and that is an Eagles jersey. So it's the only one that really matches up 100%. So maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't. Maybe I won't even wear the jersey, and because I have band practice right after work tomorrow. So who knows? But regardless, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you have fun at the game. Everyone, if you could just comment or tweet at Matt, wish him well that he gets better. And we'll have him back on for the next episode here. Thank you all for tuning in to this 2-man of Stay Hot, 2/3 of Stay Hot episode. Theo and I got through it here. Smooth. This is a very long episode for it just being the two of us. I'm very proud of us today. But thank you all for tuning in. And as always, from 2/3 of Stay Hot, we'll catch you on the flippity flop.